to show you how I took this old wash basin and gave it a fresh new look with a coat of clean white paint. If you are a purist and don't like when people paint antique pieces of furniture, please hear me out on this one. So the first thing I'm doing is cleaning it really well with Crud Clutter. I like to use that product because it does a really good job at getting all the dirt and grime off of it, but it also acts like a deglosser and a liquid sander. It dulls the finish so that the paint will adhere to it really well. Now what I'm doing is a little wood glue repair on a spot where the wood had pulled apart, and there are already pegs in there or dowels to hold it in place. So I just added some glue and pushed it back together and then let that set up. The next thing I'm doing is applying shellac to the finish of this piece so that I don't have any bleed through on my white paint. Now, while I was cleaning this piece, it started to stink really bad. Like, it had a really bad odor coming out of it, and it just wasn't going away. So even after it had dried from being cleaned, the odor was still there. So what I decided to do was shellac everything, including the inside and the inside of the drawers, the inside and outside of the drawers too. So I covered this thing in shellac to block the odor and the stain that might come through on the white paint. I had contemplated bleaching this to see what it would look like with a natural finish. I've seen other tutorials where people bleach the furniture, or they use oven cleaner to remove the finish or the varnish on it. And I thought that it would be really fun to try that. I've been wanting to do that, and I thought I might experiment with it on this. But like I said, it was so stinky that I did not want to expose any more of that wood. I just didn't think it was going to work. I couldn't really use it naturally if the stink was there. So we had to stop that in its tracks, and that's where the shellac came in, and that's why I decided to paint it. So here it is with the first coat of white chalk paint. I did a really thin coat so you can still see the wood coming through, and you can see my brush strokes, and I just wanted to give you an up close look at it after the first coat of paint. I'm sorry I did not film that first coat going on. Now I am giving it a really light sand with fine grit sandpaper. It's 220, and I'm not distressing it. I am just sanding out the feel of the brush strokes. Now I am applying the second coat of paint. I like to use a foam roller, and I also use the brush. I use both of them, and I go back and forth, and I'm just giving it a light coat. And I will use a spray bottle, a fine mist spray bottle of just water. This helps the paint to spread out and go on easier. I'll be honest, I was disappointed when I had cleaned this piece and discovered this really strong odor coming out of the wood, because I was really looking forward to trying that bleach technique and just bringing this piece back to its raw wood. However, after I had let the shellac dry, the piece didn't stink anymore, and I was just reminded how there are things in life that you just need to stop in its tracks sometimes. Get rid of it, or whatever you have to do to put a stop to it, turn it off, whatever. Here I am applying white wax to finish this piece and seal it. What I did right before this was a light sanding again with that 220 grit sandpaper to remove the feel of the brush strokes, and I also distressed the edges very lightly with that. I'm just rubbing on the wax and then going back and wiping off the excess, and then I let this sit for a day or overnight, and then I'll go back and buff it or just smooth it out with a dry rag the next day. I found this piece one step away from the trash, and I am so happy with how it turned out. It was such a sweet reminder to me of the goodness of God in my own life and how He took me from where I was and brought me to where I am now and gave me a fresh new life, a fresh new outlook on everything in my life. When you look at this piece, it went from stinky, dingy, and dirty to clean inside and out. The final thing that I did was add some contact paper to the bottom of the drawers, and then I put the hardware back on. I hope this project inspired you to reconsider any of those pieces that you had once thought about throwing out. If you have questions about the products I used or anything that I did, just leave a comment below and I will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.